Alright, so what you guys just heard was my song that I composed for Sammy G's Random Note Challenge. This is the second challenge of Sammy G's that I have entered, and, well, let's see what Sammy G has to say.
Alright my friends, the instructions for this month's challenge are quite simple. Make me some music using this.
Alright, so Sammy G just gave us a randomly generated series of notes and asked us to make music with us. Sounds pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So it's up to your freedom of creativity. I came up with something Spanish, and span with an ish because it kind of sounds Spanish, but I'm not really a Spanish player or a flamenco player. I am trying to learn though. But yeah, so this is my composition for the Random Note Challenge for Sammy G. So I thought we could go through and kind of show what I did, the techniques I used in the video, and then at the end there's going to be a tutorial slowed down if you want to learn how to play this song. So I've got it notated out in MuseScore here, and for the notes that are the Sammy G notes, I've got them above the staff here circled, and then the actual notes are circled if they're repeated like this one here. Alright, so let's jump into it. So I'm starting on an A minor, and I'm using a Spanish flamenco technique called rasgado. I'll have the video on the screen somewhere of my hands. But it kind of sounds like this. So what I'm doing there is I am striking out with my index finger, followed by middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. So you just kind of ball up, and slowly it's kind of like this. And fast. So that's how I'm starting it. Just with a rasgado there. And then I'm going into his notes, which I do a C, an A, and then I do a B flat, which I'm repeating that. And for the B flat, this is the only note I changed. It's supposed to be a B, but I changed it to a B flat. Musically, it sounds better, makes a little more sense in the context that I'm doing here. And then I come with the G and the A, and then I have another series of A minors. So what I'm doing here is there's more rasgados to it. It's a strumming pattern that I'm doing. With just the index finger, the strumming pattern is using ups and downs. It's kind of like... So that's kind of the strumming pattern, but I'm adding rasgados to it. And I'm using the ring finger first, then the middle finger, then the index finger. Slowly, that sounds like this. And in context, it sounds like this. So that's how that sounds. And going back into the notes, we've got an E, another E, and then I've got a G chord, F chord, and a D minor chord to cover the G, F, D. And then I stay on that D minor chord for a little bit. I'm using a technique here called an arpeggio. And in classical music, your fingers are named, so P-I-M-A. That's how they're named, and I've got it notated here in the music to help you out in case you do want to learn. So I've got an alternating bass. Slowly, it's like this. And you can eventually get it faster and faster, but I want to make sure it's a good rhythm. That was pretty messy, not very clean. But yeah, this is the descending arpeggio. And then the next technique I'm using is a 4-stroke tremolo. In flamenco music, you would typically do a 5-stroke, but in classical, it's a 4-stroke, and I'm more familiar and comfortable with a 4-stroke. So in the tremolo, I've got this C kind of repeating over and over again. And then the next one, the E is repeating, and then the B is repeating. But for that, those are following the Sammy G notes, but the technique itself, the bass is moving, and then the three fingers here are hitting the same note over and over, and it kind of sounds orchestral. So really slowly on the A minor, it would sound like this. Be really careful not to hit the E string. I heard it a little bit there, I did. So it's really hard because you're on the B string. It's harder to do the tremolo there rather than on the E string, and that's where I did it. So I've got the C, the E, and then this B, And then to end the song, following his notes, I have a couple more techniques to show you guys. So one technique in flamenco that I'm learning right now is alzapua. I'm not very good at it, but what that is like a triplet and a thumb. So in the context here of the piece I composed, it's down on the E string, down on the A string, up on the A string. So that's the triplet. But these are 16th note quadruplets. And to get that, I'll angle the guitar a little bit so you can see, but there's a pull off that happens. So there's a pull off. So slowly it's down, down, up, pull off, down, down, up, pull off. And then you just get it faster. All right. And then I've got the D and a G. And then for the last note in his random notes, I have a C, and I did that in the bass. I could have had it here in the chord as well, but I chose to do a D flat or C sharp there because it makes the chord sound spicy. Pretty good chord. But this is another rasgado. This one's a little different. It's kind of like the one at the beginning, starting with the index finger, but I'm also ending with the index finger. So slowly it's like this. And fast with the chord. And then to end the piece, I'm doing the same chord but with an upstroke. And then this upstroke has a golpe. And a golpe is you simply hit the guitar with your finger or nail. And this is a flamenco guitar, so it's got a plastic golpeador, which is a plastic guard. It protects the guitar. So I'm not actually hitting the wood or anything. So if you don't have something here to protect it, don't do this. If you got a pick guard, great. Got a golpeador here, great. If you don't, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but so this is the golpe. You just kind of rotate your hand into the guitar and you hit with your nail, and then you finish with a strum up, and then as a fluid motion it'll sound like this with the chord. So yeah, that's the piece. Those are the techniques. That's how I followed the note challenge. And if you want to learn this, I've slowed it down to 90 beats per minute. And that is coming up right after this. Thank you guys again for watching.